Welcome, everybody, to another live session. By all means, if you're here, feel free to throw something in the chat, say hi to me. Really happy to be here. And as you can tell, I'm trying a lot of different lives lately. Just getting a feel for things, getting a feel for how I can serve people best and, the kind of topics that are really to get people in the right zone. Hey, Amber, great to see you. Um, Anyone that's been on the past few lives, hopefully, had a really good time and probably had a good sense of higher vibe. I don't know if that's going to be the same level tonight, just given what I want to talk about. So, um, hey, Cheryl. Hey, Tesh. So basically, I've got to find a way to make sure it's even more useful to you, and that's the intention here. That's where I want to go with this. Um, Quick story. Why am I on YouTube? And I don't mean like why am I on YouTube like this week? Like why did I get on YouTube to begin with? And the reason that I got on YouTube was because after the this book came out. By the way, anyone who's meeting me for the first time, I'm Andrew, otherwise known as the guy who wrote the last Law of Attraction book you'll ever need to read. If you head on over to andrewcap.com, there's an easy link to the Amazon listing. It's an audiobook, it's in print, it's in Kindle, it's affordable, it's all good. And when I launched that book, um, people would write in, and it was very interesting because they would take certain questions on these really far-reaching levels, and I always want to be that author who, like, rather than like the stigma of the author who's like too busy and not available, like, no, I'm going to be the author that actually replies to people and gets back and gives them a legitimate answer. And what I'd found was a lot of people were asking the same questions in different ways. So it finally got to a point where it's like, what if I just recorded answers on video and posted them publicly so anyone could find their way to them? And then in the future, when people would write to me with the same kind of question, I wouldn't have to type the same thing over again, or I wouldn't have to go in my outbox and find where I answered the question and copied and pasted or anything like that. So this um, this channel is a result of me just trying to be more efficient with my bandwidth and my energy and my knowledge of this. And the reason I bring that up is because I have a very specific intention for tonight's live being one of those videos that I can, 5 years from now, when someone asks me a similar question, I could send them the link to this and say, hey, this will answer this really hard question that you're throwing at me here. And you see the title of the live. It says, life's not easy, but the law of attraction is. And this title is based on an email I got from Hans, and Hans is it's so funny. Hans and I, we've been emailing for a while, and we're always on the same page. And rather than like a problem that he has to share with me, he gives me somebody else's problem because he sent me an email and he said, "Hey, just a heads up. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but someone commented on one of your videos, and I think they're in some pain, and I think they need some help." So I go and I look, and it's one of my videos from last week where I'm explaining repeatedly how easy this is. You just feel good while thinking about what you have or what you want or both. It's easy. It's super easy. That's all I say. It's easy. And the comment is this person, Robert. He's like, "How is that easy?" I'm reading this verbatim. "How is that easy?" Exclamation point. "It is literally impossible to feel good when everything in life is pure crap." Exclamation point. "No wonder people fail at this stuff, as it is impossible on purpose." So obviously, really, really interesting comment, and it's funny and not haha funny. And I don't, this person's struggling. They're in like, pain here. So I don't find it haha funny, but it's funny that the video that they reply to, I specifically noted how people have this amazing ability of getting in their own way, and that they're just so adept at finding a way to making feeling good complicated, to making things more complicated than they need to be. And here I'm reading this comment, and what I'm getting out of Robert's reply is he thinks that I'm saying that life is easy. And I think it's really I'm sure in the past, I guarantee in the past, I probably said that life is supposed to be easy. At no point in any of my content that I could ever recall did I say life was easy, because there are easy seasons, but life isn't easy. Life is a challenge. Sometimes it's a miraculous challenge. Sometimes it doesn't feel like that. Life isn't a cakewalk. But the thing that I say is easy is the application of these methods. The application of the methods that I give are easy, and therefore engagement in this process of reaching out vibrationally to the universe to invite a better life is easy. That's the key point in this. When someone hears me say it's easy and they get upset and they're like, none of this is easy. I'm like, okay, you're saying life isn't easy, and I'm not disagreeing with you. And it's funny because, Hans, he sends me this comment and I wrote back to him. I'm like, preview the answer. I always say the application of these methods is easy. I never said life is easy. Never. And, he replied, he said, that's a good point. And I like that you make that point because we live in a reality where bad things do happen. Fortunately, with what you teach, good things tend to become the norm. That's a very important line that Hans gave me. It's like there's an acknowledgement that life is not perfect. There's an acknowledgement that bad things happen. But what I teach, the exact intention is that good things become the norm, or certainly more of the norm. And my reply to him when he said that to me was, I said, exactly. It's all about strategically, energetically positioning yourself for a better life, not a perfect one. I'll say that again. Everything I'm showing you here, and even on other lives and other videos and other experiences with me where the vibes are up and we're feeling good. I mean, I'm naturally feeling good. I'm not faking it, but by that same token, I am very intentionally setting a condition where people can feel good because I know that is strategically facilitating the vibrational energy that's going to more easily give you what you want. But again, I'll say what once again I said to him, it's strategically energetically positioning yourself for a better life, not a perfect one. It's a very important point to make. Again, this person, I kind of wish, I mean, he's free to comment. Comments help the algorithm, but I kind of wish that Robert even would have emailed me, because I would have replied to him, and I would have asked him for specifics, and I would have said, okay, what about your life specifically is so bad, so that I could better understand and better address it for you individually, which he didn't, and it's fine. And he's free to do that. But without him emailing me and without him giving me specifics, me reading between the lines, me having this experience, and I've seen so much and I've addressed so many things, what I get out of that is him saying life is not easy. And we kind of we put ourselves in this position where, we learn about the law of attraction, we learn about the power of positive thought, and all of a sudden we feel so hopeful. But while we're hopeful and while we're feeling good about things and while things are like going in the right direction for us, there is this inevitable pressure that we put on ourselves because, well, now that I know this thing, it's time for things to change. And change can be slow or it could be rapid. It's always going to depend on your vibration. It's always going to depend on how you're relating to whatever specific aspect of your life you're focusing on at the time. But the key point here is everything I'm saying here, it really is easy, even no matter what I'll say mostly whatever your problems are. The one problem that I'm not going to say is impossible, but the one problem that I would have difficulty in articulating to someone that would prevent them from taking 5 minutes away from their problems to just feel good. The one problem is constant physical pain. And what I mean by that is, I don't mean like, I'll give you an example. Like a couple years ago, I kind of threw my back out, and it wasn't in constant pain. It was in constant peril of a situation where if I moved a certain way, there would be pain. So it was like a constant threat, but the pain wasn't going on all day. And the reason I mentioned that was because I could still do the methods because I could sit in a certain way where there's no pain. So I'm comfortable long enough to disengage and strategically focus on what I want. Strategically, not pretend that problems don't exist, not pretend that life is perfect, not pretend that whatever's going on isn't going on, but strategically take these few minutes out a day, put the problems aside and focus on what I can be grateful for. And I'll say this, Robert typed out that message. I imagine he typed it out with his hands. So if he's wondering what he has to be grateful for, he has fingers, he has hands, he has arms, he has a functioning body, he has breath in his lungs, he has that device that to have watched my video and been upset by it and do everything else in his life from email or whatever else. So I bring that up is because no matter what's going on, strategically speaking, strategic, you can focus on things to be grateful for. You can be happy in a moment. And then if you really want to, I don't advise it, you can go ahead and be unhappy for the rest of the day. And remember, on last Friday's live and on last Friday's regular video, I kind of gave the math. Depending on a certain power of positive thought to negative thought ratio, if accurate, you could literally feel good for 5 minutes a day. And you can feel negatively for the rest of the day, and that time will not offset the power and momentum that you created with those first 5 minutes. So while I've got a couple emails here that I'm going to respond to, and some of the names I kept the same, and some of them I changed. I'm just trying to give certain people privacy, keep people guessing, because these are really like intimate letters that people send me, and I don't want to like put their life on blast. So I'll change a name in a way that won't make it obvious. But Peter actually wrote me, and Peter, I think, was aware of Robert's comment, and he wanted to follow up on it. And he said, "Good morning," and because I'd asked him, like, what's up, Peter? What's happening with you? And he said, "Good morning. Basically, I've tried affirmations and visions and this and that and feeling positive, and things either stay the same or they get worse. The girl I thought things were going well with now avoids me. After 30 years in a career from hell, I finally had a job that had a lot of what I always wanted, and that disappeared. Now health is starting to go downhill a bit. Home life is getting worse. I've never received anything I've ever wanted, and I'm 55 years old now. At this point, it seems pointless to ever try anything anymore. People claim this stuff works, yet it makes things worse for me. In fact, expecting good things to happen only makes it hurt more when it never comes. I really never have found anyone to be honest where positive thinking had worked for them. So, not sure what to think anymore or if I even care anymore. But that's my story. Not sure if you can help or not, but thanks for answering me on YouTube, Peter. So, there's so much there, and again, I can either fairly or unfairly um, make a guess as to, like, what's really going on here, and hopefully I'm being reasonably accurate. But like, Peter's at the end of his rope. He's over it. Like, and when you're over it, I guess the question is, like, are you really feeling good for those 5 minutes? Or are you spitefully like, oh, I'll just sit here and la di da and like think about it and tell myself that it actually feels good when it really doesn't? And this kind of brings me back to a point I made in this guy right here in this book, where there's a trap that we kind of fall into where, and it makes sense. It makes perfect logical sense. We feel good for the sake of getting a result. Now that I know what Andrew taught me, or what any other law of attraction book taught me, I'm going to feel good because I know that's going to bring me the money. I'm going to feel good because that's going to bring me the soulmate. I'm going to feel good because that's going to bring me the job. I'm going to feel good because that's going to bring me the new clients. I'm going to feel good because that's going to bring me, like, whatever that thing might be. So I want you to think about this. If I'm telling myself that I'm going to feel good so I can get the money, I am inadvertently projecting the concept that I don't have the money. I'm actually, it's in my full awareness that I don't have it, which is why I'm doing this thing in the first place. So let's say you're not feeling good to get the money. Let's say you're drinking a bottle of water to get the money, or you're writing something with a pen to get the money, or you're massaging your temples to get the money. Whatever this thing that you're doing is, it's with this awareness that you don't have the money, or you don't have whatever that thing might be. So it's this counterintuitive weird thing. When you're kind of like feeling good in order to get the thing, you're most likely focusing on the fact that you don't have the thing. You are inadvertently putting the exact opposite vibrational frequency that your intention is to, which is why I say instead, yes, you're aware of this thing. You want the money, you want this, you want the relationship, you want this, you want that. But for those 5 minutes, you're not going to feel good to get the money. You're not going to feel good to get the relationship. You're not going to feel good to get the promotion. You're going to feel good for the sake of feeling good. I'll say that again. You're going to feel good for the sake of feeling good. Remember, I said this is easy? And Robert's like, no, it's not. Well, it is when you're feeling good for the sake of feeling good. It is when you're feeling good with this understanding of, listen, whatever, I don't know what's going on with my day. Whatever is going on with my day, it is what it is. I'm going to take 5 minutes away from that because whatever's going on with that annoying boss or the fight I'm in with my spouse or the money concerns or the health concerns or relationship concerns, whatever else, let me just take a minute out and be grateful for air in my lungs. Let me take a minute out and even if I'm not happy with my paycheck, be grateful that I'm getting a paycheck. Let me be grateful for the fact that if I'm looking for a job, I have the resources and the capability and a resume in order to get that job. If like whatever's going on, let me have this recognition. Let me just be grateful for the smallest things. Be grateful for, just a glass of water. And I got an email from someone today, very, and I'm not sure if they're even on this live, but really grateful for the few lives that I was doing and saying like, I lifted things up. It was a great vibe. But the problems they were articulating to me, they were articulating, health issues that made eating food difficult, health issues that made they were their landlord was trying to evict them, issues that made work impossible, like all these things based on a specific health issue for them. And it's like, okay, if you can be grateful in the midst of that, you can be grateful also while you're looking for a job. And maybe you're looking for a job for like the past 18 months. I get it, it's not fun. I'm not saying be okay with it. I'm saying be grateful for air in your lungs. Be grateful that you can go to a local pizzeria and have a slice of pizza. These are small little things, but it's these little things that kind of stack up. And why, this person, and again, I'm going back to the letter here, I'm kind of like looking it over. It's like I've tried affirmations and visions. Affirmations is a really interesting thing. I never I'm a huge proponent of like you do what works for you. I personally have never leaned on affirmations very heavily because especially in the beginning, affirmations oftentimes it feels like you're lying to yourself, like a straight up affirmation. It feels like you're trying to rewrite reality. You're trying to rewrite your belief system, all these different things. And again, everyone's different. Some people can do it. Some people do it really efficiently. For me personally, it feels like such an uphill battle that it's negative emotion. There's fear, not fear, but there's uncertainty and doubt that gets mixed in. It's for me, it's not a productive thing. So when I hear someone say they try affirmations, I can't help but have a certain bias, thinking you probably driving yourself crazy with that. Same with like if you're trying affirmations, he said I tried feeling positive and things stayed the same or get worse. Again, I'm making an assumption about Peter here, but Peter is feeling good in order to get the thing, which means he's not feeling. By the way, I don't like going into this stuff often because it's even articulating it is making it more complicated than it needs to be. Like the simplest base form of all this is feel good while thinking about what you have or want or both. But sometimes we have to get out into the weeds because we get ourselves caught in these traps. So I can't help but wonder if Peter is feeling good to get out of this thing, but he's not getting out of the thing, so he feels more worse and more frustrated. Okay, what's happening when you're even more frustrated? You're feeling even worse, even more impatient. You're sending out that vibration. The vibration of things staying the same or getting worse is exactly what you're putting out there. Now you're saying, well, thanks, Andrew, but what am I supposed to do? To which I reply, 5 minutes a day of feeling good while thinking about what you have or what you want or both. To which Peter replies, thanks for nothing, Andrew. You already told me that. I already tried it and it already didn't work. To which I reply, you think you tried that. You did not try that. Okay? You you tried to feel good as this way of forcing the universe to do it your way versus this counterintuitive, more relaxed way of saying, all right, that's annoying, but I'm setting my alarm, I'm setting my timer, 5 minutes, whatever. I'm just feeling good for the sake and feel good. And like asking yourself, like, do I actually feel good in my body right now? What can I think of where I'm genuinely feeling good? Can I think back to a time in my life? Maybe I had a best friend, or I can think back to my first kiss. I can think back to my first crush. I could think back to a mentor who, they really looked out for me at a time when I really needed the most. And oh, wait a second, they passed away. Oh, now I'm upset. Look at the trap. You're full. No, yes, they passed away. I'm upset about that. But let me be grateful for who they were to me when they were here. Let me get back to that. Is this the thing that you're doing when you're doing this quote unquote work? And the thing is, if you're in your 40s, you're in your 50s, you're in your 60s, you're in your 70s, and nothing has happened yet, of course it's going to feel hopeless. It's going to like, what's the point of this? The point is, and this circles back to what I'd said before, this isn't about a perfect life. This is about a better life. Meaning, all right, all these decades have passed. You haven't gotten what you want yet. In my opinion, you haven't engaged in the process the way you should yet, but that's neither here nor there. You've not gotten what you want yet. Let's be optimistic and give you another 30 to 40 years of life here. You have a choice. Do you want to strategically try to approach this in a way that those next 30 to 40 years are better? Or do you want to approach it in a way that makes them the same or worse? Meaning, it sucks that you're in your 50s and you didn't get what you want yet. In spite of that, strategically speaking, engage in this process to allow the opportunity for things to improve in any way, shape, or form. Doing this and getting even a slight improvement is better than not doing it and not getting an improvement and things getting worse and worse and worse. And you definitely don't want to hear this. And I recognize this, but you had a job and it went away. It sounds so wishy-washy, but from somebody who's taken this approach and gotten a legitimate result, a healthy perspective is it possible that the universe took away this job because there's an even better one? Is it possible that job that went away, something really bad was going to happen with it anyway, and you got away from it? I'm not saying this is definitely the fact. I'm not saying this is how it happened. I'm saying this needs to be one of the possibilities that you consider. If you're going to consider the worst, you have to be fair and consider the best also, especially since this is about a vibrational frequency and this is about creating these things. This is about inviting these things. This is about inviting these results. So it's really super important to ask yourself, like, these things, that girl, things were going well and now she avoids me. Again, you don't want to hear this because I imagine I've been there. You put a lot of weight on the health and success of that relationship. I mean, especially, you're 55, you want this thing sorted out. What if in the end, the thing with her was going to go in a really bad way? And what if you need to be open and single for someone like beyond your wildest dreams, beyond what you could even consider as a possible thing for them to come into your life? This isn't, again, wishy-washy. This is like literally setting the tone and creating the vibration of making this accessible. Okay? Life is not easy. The law of attraction is. And what I mean by that is the implementation of these methods, the implementation of these simple strategies. That's the easy part. It's easy. It's simple. There's nothing more to it. Tesh, I'll get you at the end of the chat. But also if you look at my channel, it's got that there. It's got the best one to reach me. Um, so what I'm really saying here is actually, Tesh, go to andrewcap.com, scroll down, hit the contact section. That'll be the best way to get me. Hey, what's up, Nat? It's funny. As soon as I look over to chat, I see people. You guys are awesome. Tesh, go to andrewcap.com, scroll down, go to the contact form. That'll get me. Okay, so where I'm going with all this is we're being wise, we're being strategic, we're leaving room for this to happen. Now, is it going to happen? I'm not going to tell you it's definitely going to happen. I'm going to tell you it has happened. it continues to happen. These things happen for me and other people all the time. If it doesn't happen for you, that's a really difficult thing to hear because now you're putting pressure on yourself. Like, oh my God, it works for everyone else except for me. Does it? Are you engaging in this in the simple, basic way? Notice how I'm like beating a dead horse at this point. Like I'm saying the same thing, and it obviously seems redundant. It seems silly. The reason I bring this up is this book got, thankfully, thanks to you guys, it got amazing reviews. And there's a number of reasons. I'm going to tell you one of the big reasons that this got so many reviews is because it recontextualize or even just initially contextualized a concept for people that they'd never had quite sorted out in their mind before. They never had this level of clarity. It shifted a paradigm. And what I basically articulated, this thing that shifted the paradigm that anyone that's read the book is going to be very familiar with, is it explained how we have different parts of our mind. We've got our conscious mind, we've got our subconscious mind, and we have my version, because this word can mean so many different things, but what I refer to as the ego. The ego that's so much stronger than your conscious mind, but absolutely nothing compared to your subconscious mind. And your ego has one job in this world, one job. That job of your ego is to keep you alive. And right now, 55 years old, nothing happening, job from hell, finally screwed. Notice, job from hell for 30 years, and then another job comes and all of a sudden it's gone. Interesting. Your ego scans the terrain. It's looking around and it's asking one question. Is my person that I feel I'm responsible for, is my person alive? And through that scanning, it's like, okay, they're alive. What's going on with this person right now? Well, their love life sucks. Their money situation's in the toilet. Their health is declining, and they're alive. I better do my part, whatever I can, to prevent them from doing any kind of process that's going to take them away from that. Because even though them being rich and famous might be a better thing for them, I don't know that for sure as the ego, and I am not going to risk the status quo. Therefore, when they try to do affirmations, I'm going to be the devil on their shoulder. I'm going to be that sneaky voice in the background, like, you don't really believe this, do you? Therefore, when they start making progress and things start going well, I'm going to be that angel on their shoulder, or so-called angel, and be like, you've done great. You could skip a day. Everything's fine. You don't have to worry about this. I'm going to say whatever I have to say, do whatever I have to do, manipulate and maneuver in whatever way I have to, because, oh my God, this person's making a dramatic change in their life. And what if this threatens our survival? I've got to do something about this. In a job for 30 years that you hate, and your ego's looking around the whole time like, I'm alive, this is good. Get a new job, it's like, freak out, something's going to change. And I'm not saying this is your fault. I'm just saying these are possibilities. Is it possible? I don't know if you were fired or if you were laid off. I don't know what happened. Is it possible that your ego was hijacking some of your behaviors that made you rub people the wrong way, that put your job in jeopardy? I'm not saying that happened. I'm framing that as a possibility because I don't know your situation. I'm giving you a legitimate possible way this happens. Sometimes we do things, we say things, we carry ourselves in certain ways on autopilot. We don't realize. This, by the way, is why when people feel good about themselves and they successfully do that, they go places because all of a sudden they're carrying themselves in a completely different way with a level of confidence and a level of ease. They feel good to be around. You know, when you, for the person out there who wants a job promotion, when you're visualizing that and you're genuinely feeling good about that thing, that's going to inform on what's going on. And by the way, as I said that, I just realized a possible contradiction that can be interpreted in what I was talking about before. I was talking about, feeling good for the sake of feeling good and not feeling good to get the thing that you want. That doesn't mean that you're not allowed to think about what you want. Visualize the thing, but just make sure you're visualizing it in a way that you're not trying to pull and force it into existence, whereas you're just visualizing it in a way that it just feels good. That's the whole purpose of visualizing it. Does it actually feel good to think about that promotion? Or are you like gritting your teeth like, oh, this will get me that promotion that I've wanted for years? This is this vital, weird distinction, but this is where the ego trips you up. This is where the ego pulls you in that direction of like, it makes you think that you're getting this right because you're visualizing the thing. Are you actually visualizing the thing with good emotions or bad emotions? Are you visualizing the thing with a sense of impatience or a sense of patience, with a sense of lack or a sense of abundance, with a sense of fear or a sense of courage and anticipation? What's really going on there? Now you're like, oh, great, Andrew. Now you're filling me with doubts. Like, how do I know? You just, do you feel good? And like, do you feel even like, like it's not a complicated thing. If your solar plexus feels tight or it feels expansive. Like, even a little trick is like, as you're thinking about this thing that you're visualizing it, take easy, deep, slow breaths, because that will be even like a calming feature that will calm your body, that will affect your physiology, that'll affect the biochemical stuff that's going on in your brain. Another little trick: smile while you're thinking about this thing, because smile is a physical cue that's been embedded in you since, not only since before you were born, just, evolutionarily speaking, but also as a cue for you physically that you've experienced for decades now. For decades, smiling for you is a good thing, and it means that you're in a good mood. So a super high, like, easy hack when you're visualizing things that you want is to smile while you're doing it. Like, it's these are like the little things that go really far. But where I'm going with this is, again, it all comes down to, like, really trying to recognize, like, are you caught in this pattern and this loop of negativity where you feel like you're doing the stuff, you feel like you're doing the visualizations, you're doing all these things? Are you? Because if it feels uncomfortable, if it feels horrible, of course you're going to be miserable with this process. This is, again, one of the main reasons why, this is why I am a broken record of telling people to feel good while thinking about what they have or want or both, and not to worry about anything else. I don't even tell people to worry about shifting their beliefs, because that kind of stuff auto corrects on its own. Like, I've never had to consciously, um, S. Kelly, I don't know if that will be available after the chat's concluded. That's my best knowledge on that. Sorry, I don't have more for you. Um, so it's one of those things where it's really important to engage in that process, because you don't know. It's easy to fall for traps, and I just keep it really basic and really simple, because all I want is you. Oh, this is where I was talking about beliefs. I never I've never had to intentionally, consciously shift a belief. Now, some people do, or they think they do, and it works for them. Awesome. Maybe it works for you. Awesome. For me, it's never worked, and fortunately, it's never been a requirement. My belief systems change to match what I want by virtue of the fact that I allow myself to visualize what I want, and I just feel good about it without any pressure on myself, without any requirement, without any, like, this is how soon it has to happen, and this is the way it's supposed to happen. I have the attitude, I'm a huge proponent of, like, I love when I don't know how it's going to happen, because the stuff that's out of my control, there is such a freedom and flexibility there. Like, anything could happen. Like, I get emails from people that they want to win the lottery. They want that overnight money win. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's, people win the lottery. It happens. It obviously happens, right? But I would ask them, why limit yourself? Like, it sounds funny limiting yourself to the lottery, right? Lottery can be millions or billions of dollars or whatever. Why limit yourself? Why not be open to an inheritance from somebody? Why not be open to learning about a stock or learning about a crypto? Or why not be open to having a book idea? And you're thinking, well, oh, that's not overnight. I've got to write a book. I've got to go on YouTube lives, and I've got to interact with people, and I got to promote it. I got to have, like, huge poster boards behind me. I don't want to do any of that. I mean, not that you should have to work, but sometimes when you're engaging and you're serving people, it is really an uplifting, invigorating thing that fills your life up. So I'm not saying, go for the lottery, but just don't limit yourself, as that's the only way that you can get rich overnight, or massively rich in a reasonably, short time. There's so many possibilities, but we put so much attachment on things and requirement. Like, it has to go this way. It has to go this way. And that's actually your ego. Like, your ego's like, knows it's not fun, and your ego doesn't want things to change. Again, If you become rich and famous and you want to, and you're there long enough for your ego to figure out that you're alive still, it'll fight tooth and nail to protect that reality. But until that happens, for all your ego knows is that you being famous means you're going to get stalkers. You being rich means distant family is going to come out of the woodwork trying to sue you. Like, it's thinking of all these things that can be a potential threat to your survival, and it would prefer discomfort. It would prefer poor health. It doesn't care about the poor health because it sounds funny, like, well, that's a threat to life. Well, not really. You're still alive. Your ego isn't exactly like the sharpest, spoon in the drawer, or the sharpest knife in the drawer. It's more like a spoon, because it's very adept and very sneaky, and very uh, it's very sharp when it comes to manipulating you because it understands you, but it's not very wise when it comes to anticipating and understanding the magic that could be waiting for you in a new life when you shift your paradigm and you shift the way you do things, and where things can kind of change and shift for you. So I don't say this any I don't say any of this to scare you, because the beauty is, if you keep things at a very basic, simple level, your ego can't get in your way. Like, it can fight tooth and nail. But notice what I said a few minutes ago. I said there's levels of power and influence here. There's your conscious mind, and then there's your ego, which it could swallow up your conscious mind in a heartbeat, and your conscious mind's no match for it. But then there's the subconscious mind. And your ego in a fight with your subconscious mind is like a poodle wrestling a grizzly bear. It's like it's impossible. It's impossible for your ego to beat your subconscious mind, which is why when you're thinking about what you want and you're visualizing and you're genuinely feeling good and you're vibrating at this frequency is going out in many ways, including a connection with your subconscious mind and the universe. I mean, the ideas for your inspiration, where are they going to come through? The universe can send it through your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is right there for you. It's this huge powerhouse, and all it needs are these right instructions. And all you need to give them the instructions is just to say, okay, I'm going to feel good for 5 minutes a day. And then after that, maybe I will, maybe I won't. But those 5 minutes, I'm giving myself permission. Again, I'm not going to rush it. That's the difference. Like, you might be been looking for a job for the past year. Obviously, you're impatient. I'm not going to tell you shouldn't be. I mean, it's ridiculous to say something like that. But just 5 minutes a day, like, I'm going to think about this job in a non-negative way. I'm going to think about this job and just like, who knows what could happen. Let me just plant those seeds vibrationally. Let me plant those seeds subconsciously. Let me do whatever I need to do. It's just basically, I'm preventing my ego from getting in my way. Which, by the way, your ego is not your enemy. Your ego loves you. This is a misguided attempt to protect you. Your ego doesn't know what it's doing in that way, but it loves you. It's your ego isn't trying to harm you. It's just that your pain and your discomfort are not enough to deter it from doing what it needs to do, because survival is way above that. Think about working out, right? Working out is painful. Working out is uncomfortable. Lifting weights, right? It's a very painful process, but that's a healthy thing for your survival. By that same token, not that you're supposed to go through emotional pain, but your ego is willing for you to be in discomfort and be in pain and be in suffering, be whatever else, if you're alive still. That's all it cares about. That's the thing you have to realize. And as I'm reading, again, I'm going back to this letter that I got from Peter. It could be wrong. I could be wrong. And Peter probably, maybe Peter appreciates me saying this, or maybe like he's so pissed off he doesn't want to hear it. But all I see here is his ego just like lashing on for dear life and exasperating the situation. That's all I see. I don't see in this. I don't see Peter, and not that Peter means to do this. Peter's not trying to disregard me, but I don't see Peter truthfully, whether he realizes it or not. I don't see him feeling emotionally good for a few minutes a day. I don't see him engaging in a visualization where the visualization is actually a positive thing, where there's no stress and there's no impatience. Again, I understand it. Like, you're at a bad job for 30 years, you finally get a good one, it's gone. Yes, of course you're going to be mad. Like, this is human nature. All I'm saying in the middle of all this is the thing that I teach people that has worked for me and has worked for others, which is why I continue to teach it, is this is all about strategically positioning yourself for a better result, a better outcome, a better event. That's all we're doing. That's all I'm ever doing here with you. Like everything else is bells and whistles. If you read this book, the goal is that it's enabling you in order to do that. You read this book, the goal is it's enabling you to do that. You get my 90-day Gravity of the Cosmos program. The goal is you get 90 straight days of me guiding you through so that you can do that because I understand the power of 90 consecutive days of feeling good for a few minutes a day. I understand the power of someone when their ego is messing with them and it's not letting them do it. If I can make these videos that, all right, you can't think of a manifesting method to do, I'll give you one. I'll give you one every day. I'll give you little lessons here now. I will spoon feed it for you because it's a program I would have died for when I was figuring this out. So let me do that. Oh, you don't like 90 days. It's too much. Okay, I've got escape velocity, which will be available sooner than you guys realize. It used to be available every December. It's actually going to be available sooner in a different way. But that's 30 days. Like, but again, if you don't want to spend money on Andrew, that's cool. Any book, any free method, whether it's my videos or someone else's videos on YouTube, like anything you can do, the whole point, all this should be about is feeling good emotionally because you are triggering a change in your vibrational frequency and creating space, creating actual energetic space. And you're creating basically like a signal, a focal point for the universe to see a specific kind of new reality, a better reality, and mold things and adjust things and move things in a way that matches up with it so that it actually emerges in your 3D reality experience. That's like everything. Now, this brings me to another letter another email I got. This is from Suzanne. She said, "Hi, Andrew. I have a question about inspired action and intuition. I've had a few moments of what I thought was intuition and felt inspired to do something, and it went nowhere. Nothing happened. I know these thoughts and feelings can also be fueled by a strong want or need for something. So, how can you tell the difference from true inspiration or intuition to simply wanting something a lot? When these feelings come, I feel positive and happy about the outcome. And when nothing happens, I don't become negative, but I do wonder why. I would appreciate any insight on the subject. With thanks, Suzanne." Okay. The reason I included this letter is because I think it's perfectly like on brand with this type of thing where I say keep it simple, but there's these complications that tend to come up whether we want them or not. So obviously the way this is supposed to work is there's things within your control and there's things that are not within your control. You engaging in this process is within your control. The universe will handle things that are not within your control. But by that same token, you have to do your part also. Like, for Peter, like he needs to get a job, right? He needs to feel good while thinking about a new job and filling in all those details. But he also needs to get on LinkedIn. He needs to do his part. He needs to take action in a way that's moving towards that so that the universe has these pockets of opportunity to put the right result in front of him. So here we have Suzanne saying, well, I'm on board with that. I get these little pings, these inspirations. So there's a couple of things. One, obviously, like, do you feel abundant or do you feel lackful when you think of this idea? Because if it's lackful, then you're forcing it and you shouldn't. But if you feel abundant, which you already said you did, cool. We don't know. Okay, the implementation of this, the engagement in this process itself is so simple. Like I keep saying, you set a timer, you feel good, blah, 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 right? It is so simple. It's very important that it's simple so that you can successfully do it on a consistent basis. But the mechanics beneath the surface are complicated beyond your wildest imagination. Your wildest cognitive abilities couldn't even begin to scratch the surface of how complicated the mechanics actually are in the background to all this. It's it's really mind-boggling if you actually think about the web of energy and all the things that are happening. So when you take this inspired action, well, you're moving into position of what you want. And not everything is going to be an exact match. Maybe this thing that you did, it sets you up for something else. Maybe it's setting up an intellectual context for something else that you're going to need to do. Like these things, like, so I'll give an example. I don't know your specific thing, but let's say I want my book to do better, so I have to promote it better, right? I'm visualizing, cool. Oh, I have inspired action. I know. I'm going to go on Facebook and I'm going to run Facebook ads. Okay, and I go on Facebook, and what happens is it goes nowhere. and they give me a really bad experience, which they have in the past, by the way. Like, don't even get me started. And then I'm thinking, wait, this is weird. I was so inspired. Like, I did this thing and it didn't work. Like, what's happening here? Then a year later, I'm doing a different ad platform, and an important setting that comes up that I recognize from Facebook, and I realize to change the setting in a certain way, and boom, a video goes viral. That one thing that seemed like a waste of time had some level of value that was not revealed until after the fact. By that same token, another I'm giving you a possibility. Another possibility is, like, you're just not vibrational ready yet. Maybe you're a week off. Maybe that thing that you did, it would have worked a little bit different. You waited, not that you should wait a week, but if you waited a week, like, what I'm really going back to here is there's so many complicated mechanics. Is it's going to be There's going to be times where it feels hit and miss. There's going to be times where it doesn't feel certain. Like, your automatic inspired action is not necessarily automatically going to be the thing that gets you the thing you want, or that at least you could attribute to getting the thing you want. It might be getting you there in ways that you don't realize. But where I'm going with this is, when you actually get inspired action, you're inspired to move in some way, do so with the same open-ended and open window mentality of, this could work out or it can't. I'm not worried about the timing. I'm not worried about the how. I feel good about this, so I'm going down this road, and I'm open to whatever possibility is going to emerge from this. Always keeping it that simple. And part of this is, again, I'm all about strategy. If I do this thing that feels inspiring and it doesn't work out, and then I get down in the dumps about it, it's not really me. That's my ego. Like, see, now be more confused, Andrew. But the thing that I always go back to is, I remember when I figured this out for myself. It was after a point in my life where things went so wrong. And I thought back, I'm like, well, whenever I was doing this law of attraction thing, it was starting to work. Why did I stop? And I was so angry with myself. I said, I don't care what happens. I don't care when it happens, how it happens, why it happens. I don't care about any of that. I'm going all in. I'm doing at least 5 minutes per day. I'm not going to be deterred by failure. I'm not going to be deterred by success. I'm not going to be deterred by things going wrong. I'm not going to be deterred by things going right. What I just articulated for you, a version of that for you, is, you do this thing, it didn't work out, and you don't care. You're going to keep going. When more inspired action comes to you, you're going to do that. When another inspired idea comes to you, if it feels good, you're going to do that. And you're going to keep engaging in these methods in this process. Again, I just know that from being a really stubborn, difficult person, almost spiteful, where I'm like, I'm not stopping. I don't care. I don't care. I will literally do this for a decade. And I I don't care. Oh wait, nothing's working out. Well, that's funny. It wasn't working out before anyway, so I'm going to keep doing this. Oh wait, it was working out before. It was working out before when I started to do this, until I stopped and it stopped working. I am not going to stop this time. I'm going to be cognizant. I'm going to be aware of myself. I'm going to make sure I'm not falling into traps. I'm going to make sure that I'm not trying to force it. I'm going to make sure I'm not feeling bad about, while thinking about the thing that I want. I'm actually feeling good. I'm going to put details that feel good. So, for example, it's like, you're thinking about this job that you want, and this goes for Peter, because Peter's looking for a job that he's going to love, right? When I'm thinking about the details of the job, um, I'm thinking about, like, like maybe a wonderful boss, and how collaborative it is, and how good we were on. I'm not letting myself fall down the road of, it's not like this other boss who I had, who sucks. I hate them, and here's why I hate them. I don't fall into that trap. Like, the details that I'm focusing on legitimately, genuinely feel good. They just do, and that's it. There's no other standard. There's no other piece to this. There's nothing else to it. Like for real, for real. Quick little aside, Syed. I think Syed might be on this. He's watching. He sent me a question. I'm going to be handling yours in a different live, because yours needs a lot more attention in a different topic. So, just like everything else, I'll make sure I'm serving you in the right way. So I will address your question, hopefully on a live this week. Speaking of which, I'm not done talking about this, but quick side note. I've been emailing people to, like, I'm going live, this and that. I don't want to keep driving people nuts with, like, repeated emails. Like, for people that have bought my book and opted into bonuses and are on my lists, I'm emailing them, letting them know that I'm on live, so they come. I'm not going to, like, bombard your inbox for much longer. What I'm probably going to be doing is I'm going to send out a schedule. Like, here's when I'm going live this week, and here are the topics, and here's what to expect, and have fun. So, just as a heads up, for those that are, like, finding me through email, don't always depend on email. Like, note the time and make sure you show up, because That's where, replays are great too, but being live, there's a certain magic to it. In any case, people in the chat on right now, and people who want to be in the comments later on after this goes on replay, but people in the chat, how are things resonating for you here? Is this clicking? Is it linking up? Is everyone good? Just waiting for replies from people to see that pops in. I've got a yes, which is awesome. I'll take a yes. Yes, I'm good. Thank you, cool boy. Hey, quick random question. Um, the last YouTube live, awesome. The last YouTube live, it was different than this in that it was very critical for interaction in real time. And I'm still figuring out the live thing. And I had like monetization turned on, and people were getting like ads in the middle of like this critical piece. So I turned monetization off. I'm not asking anyone to super chat me right now, but I am curious for those to see, is the super chat option on? I'm just curious if the super chat option appears even when the video is not monetized, because I'm sorting out all the best ways to go live. So anyone that notices the difference, feel free to pop in the comments to let me know if the super chat is a possible option for you, even when I have not monetized the video. In the meantime, I'm reading Pam. I love that you're reading things to the books. It's there. Awesome. Thanks. In that case, what the hell, guys? No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Um, but by the way, interesting thing. I'm going to make a comment about this, and I don't know if this is true, but you notice like the tone of this live. I think it's a darker tone. It's not. It's just not as bright. The other lives were bright. I wonder if that's a contributing factor in people like in a good mood, like I'm gonna put some money again. Don't feel obligated to put money down, but I'm making this observation because I think it's very important to be cognizant of like how your emotions even affect something like this that you don't even realize. Like if especially people that super chat in the past, like when you were up, like this feels great, boom, you're taking that action. And now like I spent the first 45 minutes of this just like going really delving into in as light a way as possible, a darker side of this, a darker vantage point of all this. It's really, again, it's important to consider that. There's one more email that I wanted to address, and I changed names, but again, this is along these lines. So let me go into this. So Tammy wrote, "Hey Andrew, what is some of the best advice on how to let go and detach?" Notice how this is all the same theme here, because that's part of things like being able to detach, right? So she said, some things I can easily let go when it comes to pass. I guess I'm looking for a way to easily let go. One way that really helps me is to align, excuse me, one way that really helps me to align is to thank God for all my blessings. When I start thanking God, I've had answered prayers in 10 minutes. Please tell me how to manifest a new car. This is what I'm asking for. Now, I wrote back to Tammy just in case there was any more relevant detail that I can use for more context to address this. So I wrote back, I said, are there any further details you want to give me in order for me to personalize this more for you? You don't have to, but I figured I should offer you that option in case you want it. To which she replied, "Hi, Andrew. I've received many awesome gifts that I didn't have to pay for, including a brand new iPhone, Apple laptop, a washer and dryer, among other things. Most of these took less than a year. I am asking for a new car now. The difference, I think, I wasn't in a hurry to get the other stuff. I wanted these nice items, but I wasn't thinking about them a lot. The car's my dream." And then she goes into all the details about this awesome car, which I want the car too. Like Dodge Charger green, like don't even get me started. It's awesome. Then she says, "I've been asking for 2 years. Any advice? Thank you so much for replying to me." All right, so she halfway answered her question, because notice how I asked for more details, and she even like acknowledged the problem. Like, the difference I think is I wasn't in a hurry to get the other stuff. So her being in a hurry is not helping matters. But then again, that's not exactly, oh, thank you, S. Kelly. You didn't have to, but I appreciate it. At least I know it works. Um, how do you detach? Okay, there's different ways of detaching, and obviously like the success that you'll have through detaching, it depends on like really how glued you are to something. But part of detaching is like literally like, okay, you want this really cool new car, it sounds so like blasé now, and every law of attraction author would tell you, but focusing on the current car and all the things you love about it, and reminding yourself that, okay, well, you at least have a car right now, or you at least have transportation right now. In other words, this clearly is not a life or death thing, just based on the tone. Like this isn't preventing her from her livelihood or things like that. This is just a really cool thing she wants, which is fine. Detaching comes in from saying, listen, I don't know why this is taking so long. I'm not going to worry about that. There's something more here. There's a greater opportunity that I'm it's not clicking what that opportunity is. There's something more here. There's something else going on. And I'm not going to force it, I'm not going to rush it. But I'm going to keep basking in the gratitude of this. And in order to detach, I'm just going to make sure that so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to experiment, by the way. I'm going to do this as a day by day thing. This is what you do. On one day, you do 5 manifesting methods, and they're all focused around the new car. On another day, you do 5 manifesting methods, and none of them are focused on the car. And you ask yourself which one feels good. Like when you did all the stuff on the car, was there a tension or a stress there? And on the other one, how did that go? And notice how like I'm taking this thing of like we're definitively like turning the switch on and off. It's like a light switch, right? So one day it's all about the car, another day it's not about the car. Another day it is, another day it isn't. Isn't. What you're doing here is you're literally like training yourself. You're conditioning yourself on a mental and emotional level to be able to disengage from the car. You're like, it's a definitive part of your process. Now, you might still be thinking about the car throughout the day. That's okay. Because again, you're taking those few minutes a day, which again, we've explored in other videos and other situations, the power of those minutes where you're not thinking about the car, you're not worrying about it. So doing this experiment of like, okay, these methods are only about the car. It's as long as it feels good, by the way, as long as the details feel good and doesn't feel like you're missing out. And then another day where like it's nothing to do with the car. I'm going to visualize all the happiness and gratitude for my family, for my work, for like whatever, on and off, day by day, every other day. And what you're training yourself to let go or detach. That's how you detach. You detach through gratitude. You detach through intention of doing this in a way where like you're weaning yourself off from having to think about it every day in the same way. Thank you, SK. It is. Which, by the way, SK just wrote, great detachment strategy, so practical. I kind of knew the answer and I kind of didn't. And in other words, like part of this is like, I don't want to call them downloads. I'm not channeling. I'm not Esther Hicks. But the ideas in my mind, like the way that I'm articulating, the way they're unfolding, they're coming in the moment. Like, I don't even, if you notice, if you go back and you watch this, where I suddenly like it realized, like it dawned on me, like this on and off thing, it really is about the detachment process. When I was first saying that, it wasn't about like a light switch, but then it dawned on me, no, wait, that's in all of my experiences with my own psychology and all I've learned about human nature and all I've learned about psychology and all I've learned about the way the mind works and all these things, that tracks really well. So boom, it comes out and I tell you guys about it. Quick apology. I do see that there's been like chats and stuff, and I haven't seen them in the same way. I mean, I'll definitely I'll check them out later on, but I want to express gratitude for everyone that does write in the chat. I think when you're writing in the chat, even like a simple thing that has nothing to do with any that isn't even like driving the conversation forward, you're engaging in this moment more. Like from a selfish standpoint, I'm like, hey, if you comment, it'll help the algorithm. It'll tell YouTube that you're loving this. But let's put that aside. Like service to you, service to you. If you're commenting while stuff like this is going on, you're reaffirming these ideas and you're ingraining them a lot more. You're ingraining your time here. If I'm saying something and it feels good and you feel like a release of energy and there's a bit of relief and you start typing, you're reinforcing that self. So I would just say, like, don't feel pressure, don't feel an obligation. But if there's an opportunity and you're inspired just to chat, like, cool, whatever, I'm liking this, whatever it might be, like, feel free to do that because it is making a difference. Like, it's kind of like, when you write things down or when you say things like your participation in this is an added element that I can't manufacture for you that you can use to your advantage. So in any case, I'm really hoping that this road that I went down here was useful for you, no worries, Dirk. That's what the replay's for. Um, I really I hope it was useful for you because again, I want to articulate this right way. It's not like that I dislike going down this road, but I don't like it as much because it feels very easy to get out in the weeds, and it feels like it's very easy for me to say something inadvertently that will confuse things rather than make them better, which is why I always go back to feel good while thinking about what you have or want or both, because that really is all that you need. But when I'm seeing comments like this, when people are emailing me and they're telling me how bad things are, and I'm getting at least the slightest inkling of the way that they're articulating how they're engaging in this process, I don't want to be that guy who's like, well, obviously, you're not doing it my way because my stuff always works. It's your fault, not mine. I don't mean it that way. It's not even about me. It's not about my stuff. But I can't help just being authentically honest here. I hope I am being. I hope I'm really being authentic here. It doesn't feel like the way you are engaging with the methods is the way that I intend, the way I articulate, the way I describe, the way I instruct. It just doesn't feel that way. And please don't expect things to happen overnight. They could be open to things happening overnight, but don't expect it. This is about strategically engaging in this process that's going to position you energetically for a better result, a better life, not a perfect life, a better life. Life's not easy. Implementation of these methods is. Life is not easy. Implementation of these methods is. If I'm a reasonably healthy person, okay, life's not easy. Holding this bottle of water is. Unscrewing the cap, taking a drink. This is easy. Life may not be easy. This is easy. Engaging in these methods. And the whole point of these methods, again, they're supposed to be fun. No one's going to do this. No one's really going to do it every single day if they're not enjoying it. And if they're not enjoying, if they're doing it every day and they're gritting their teeth, again, they're going in the opposite direction. If this feels like a chore, if it feels like a commitment, it feels like an obligation, it's not serving you. It's better not to do a method and just go for a walk. Like seriously, like again, like this isn't about Andrew's big fix to the world and everything. No, it really is just about feeling good. Notice I said feeling good while thinking about what you have or what you want or both. You could also just strip it to feeling good. The reason I say while thinking about what you have or what you want or both is because in most cases, it's a good, convenient, efficient leveraging point for you. The reason I say use a manifesting method is because it's a good focal point of putting your focus to do this. But if you can just sit around, walk around, sit there, do nothing, and feel good just in that way or feel just okay, that's also enough. I'm only telling you to think or to focus or to visualize or to do whatever because these help keep you on that track of feeling good. It helps most people do that. It definitely helps me doing that, but it's not a requirement. The name of this book is the requirement. Just feel good. It doesn't say just feel good while doing a method. It doesn't even say just feel good while thinking about what you have or want or both. It says just feel good. These things will help you with that. That email from Peter and that comment from Robert, I don't believe they were just feeling good. And if I'm wrong about that, if you're watching that, Robert and Peter, I sincerely apologize. I could be wrong. It is entirely possible that I am wrong about this. I'm giving you my best guess. I would think and hope that if you think about it, like you're like, yeah, Andrew got me there. And of course I didn't feel good because of all these things. But I go back to the comment. I want to read this comment one more time and then we'll close things out here. Where Robert said, no wonder people felt this stuff as it is impossible on purpose. Like, it's an interesting term, impossible on purpose. I know, like, I'm not trying to make it impossible. And I don't even know if you meant like me or the way I'm describing it. But the engage forcing the universe to give you what you want is damn near impossible. Like forcing it. Taking it and dragging it out of the universe is impossible. Inviting it, being open to it, doing what you can to gently nudge yourself in a better direction, that's not impossible. Certainly not impossible on purpose. So that's where I'm going with this. Pam, email me. I mean, you can go to gravitythecosmos.com, but actually, Pam, email me first. Okay, it's really important what you're asking where you can get Gravity the Cosmos. I mean, the answer is gravitythecosmos.com, but email me because I have a little note for you about something. Um, that's it, guys. That's all I got for you. Thank you for those who hung on. I hope that this wasn't like I hope this is like a useful, like a good live. Um, Preview. I don't know if it's gonna be the next live, but I got a really cool live coming up where monetization will definitely be turned off. I'm gonna be doing a manifesting method workshop. And what I mean by that is interacting with you through the chat. We're going to invent new manifesting methods that we're going to use. We're going to do it in real time. I'm not going to do any pre-preparation. Like I know what I'm going to ask you, but it's going to be really cool. I don't think it's going to be the next live, but I think it's going to be this week, or it's going to be either like Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Probably Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like it's going to be awesome. This is the kind of thing I'm going to give you is the thing I should be charging money for. It's an actually going to be like a live workshop for free for you to show up. Tesh, actually, I don't know what time it is. It's going to be. It also depends on the day. Like if it's a Saturday or Sunday, it might be in the afternoon. I don't know, but I will obviously I will email everyone and let them know the time to expect. Tesh, if you don't get emails from me, go to andrewcap.com, go into the comments, write me a message, and I'll show you how to get messages from me. But it's gonna be really cool. Like I'm mentioning it now, guys. It's gonna be awesome. Like I'm overhyping it, but you're not spending money on it, so I feel really good about overhyping it because it's gonna be a lot of fun. But I'll probably at least like one more live before that, so we'll see what happens. Um, Cool. Guys, I'm going to read your chats a little bit later on. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Again, I have immense gratitude for you, for Peter and for Robert, and for anyone who was like having trouble with this. I hope I didn't sound too heavy-handed. I hope I didn't sound too harsh. I hope that the way I articulated and delivered my answer is genuinely beneficial for you. Like that's all I want. All I've ever wanted through this stuff is an accessible road pathway for you to utilize this the way I've been able to utilize it for myself. That's all I've ever wanted. So please take that intention and thought with you for tonight. Do something nice for yourself, even if it's just like sitting and relaxing and breathing and just being at ease with yourself. Do something nice for yourself tonight. And I will look forward to seeing you guys very, very soon.